How did you guys meet?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one that goes back a few years, but I actually hired Stan originally. So I originally, not to get into this huge thing about me, but when I first came to Virginia, I'm from Baltimore originally, but I came here to start a business. So I came here and opened a sales and marketing firm in right down the street, actually, from where we're sitting right now, which is come full circle. And I had in that first year, so what was that, Stan? That had to be 2017 or 16?
17 is when I started.
17. So summer of 17, about a year after I had launched that business, it was going really well. And I decided, this would be a cool opportunity there's a lot of great schools around where my office is. I wonder if I put out an internship, if maybe I could not only get just a high quality individual, which would be fun for me to develop, but also see if I can give back and kind of provide opportunity through, an internship, which would be fun. It was more of a sales internship. So I thought, this will be cool if I put really tough targets and then see if these interns can hit them. And so I had that done, and I had a few interns. No one made it even through, I think, the first 3 weeks. Not that it was insane, but it was very structured, very consistent. And Stan, I'm sure, can tell you it might have been a little demanding. But Stan was actually the only person to this day that I ever had. And I, ran that and those businesses for over 5 years. And I offered that every summer. And Stan's the only person that completed it successfully. And so that always, you always remember something like that, especially because, and I think he wouldn't mind me saying, he took the internship because it was putting him out of his comfort zone. I was putting him in front of people, 30, 40 people every single day, and, putting a little bit of, I think positive pressure to, close some deals with, obviously help, guidance, and tools. And he was, constantly excelling and developing. So always remembered that. That's how we first met. And then, yeah, I guess I'll break there because it could keep going and going and going.
Well, one thing that I really appreciate, going back to the previous question, was the fact that, like, for younger people, they can't afford the $20,000-$30,000 that it would take for a down payment. Or you give a platform that's educational in the sense of, hey, this is something I would like to do in the future, but let me learn on the small stakes poker table, if you will. Let me throw $100, $200, buy a few shares, see how all this plays out, and understand the game with low dollar amounts. And if you lose a couple $100, you lose a couple $100, as opposed to, hey man, I'm going all in. Kind of like, to your point, Josh, starting a business, putting all your chips out there, maxing out your credit cards, only to find out it's not going to work, and then you're left with nothing. So what you guys are able to do from an educational standpoint, to democratize the ability for younger people to get into the game is super cool. And that's one of the things that I like so much about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big aspect, and we didn't even touch on that, but something Stan and I think is really important in this type of industry, and will continue to be important, is that social, we call it the social investing aspect. And what we mean by that is the educational piece, but also for people to feel more and more comfortable. So like an example of that is, if we onboard somebody and they're saying, hey, the example would be the deal we have now, right? It's a description. And our goal is to find more and more of these type of people that don't have a problem. And the next steps would be they have even a profile where you, as like you said, Tim, a younger novice investor, can go, oh man, I don't know if I want to invest all this money, but let me see what Pocket Properties is about. Oh, this deal seems pretty cool. Let me click this video. Oh, wow. This investor has done tons of deals, 10 years of experience. Here's a link to their website with all the deals and what they're doing. Right. This makes me feel, pretty comfortable. And like you said, I'll invest $10. Yeah.
So from that standpoint, you're almost like an angel list for real estate as well. Yeah, in terms of.
And that's the kind of the approach that we're taking. One of the things that we're doing with this MVP is just trying out different things, seeing what people like. So we're like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're currently working with a individual out of Texas to see if we can get a fund structured.
Later today, even we have a call.
Yeah, later today, to see if we could get some type of a fund structured. He currently already has a fund down in Austin, Texas, that's for accredited investors that's raised a substantial amount of money. One of his things is he also owns a real estate agency, a brokerage. With a bunch of agents. But the thing is, none of his agents can even invest with him because of the way they're not accredited. So we're currently working on this fund with him, which would be specifically towards these individuals. He's a well-established real estate investor. He has a great track record with funds. He's willing to do stuff with unaccredited investors, but just until very recently, the landscape hasn't allowed him to do so. So that's one of the things, like you said, with Angels List, there's individuals who have great track records who are reaching out, getting more clients into their particular fund. So that is a fairly accurate comparison in that sense.
So recently I've been thinking about things that I've gotten better at over time. And it's things that I put a lot of reps into, right? And then I think about things like I really wanted something, but I didn't really put a rep into it. So it made me think about I don't know, 5th grade, I wanted to be in this band. And so I'd show up to band practice, but I never really got into it. I never really learned how to play the guitar. I bought a guitar, but I didn't learn how to play the guitar. It seems ridiculous. And there's a lot of people that might want to be a social media influencer or whatever it is. And they do very minimal work to start seeing success. And so I was thinking about this on a run recently. Tim will like this as an avid runner, but I was like, why am I getting better at this? Right? Why have I started to see that I'm improving significantly over time? And last week's guest, Jason Calacanis, says it's all about reps, right? Be Steph Curry, keep shooting those threes. And I believe he said this on the replay. It was, people are shocked that he makes the shots, but if you see him practice all day, he's doing it all day. He's putting in the reps. And so because I'm running a lot more, because I'm swimming a lot more, because I'm doing a lot more athletic things, I'm seeing improvement in those because I'm putting in the reps. Same thing goes with business, right? You can't just want a successful business. Yeah. You have to put in the reps to do it. And so you have to do the motions to see that success. And I think sometimes you have to put yourself, I think almost every time you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I strongly believe that what I'm hearing from you is you've taken an apprenticeship, not internship approach to some of the ways that you've engaged into your career, into your business. And the way I look at those things differently is an intern, someone who's like, oh, give me college credit. Let me do this for 3 months. Let me go make your coffee, whatever. Mm-hmm. An apprentice is someone who might actually be that same thing, but is focused on learning as much and immersing themselves as much as possible to learn the trade so that they can make an impact in that at a later time. And I think that's something that more people need to do. I wish I would have done that in college when I was in journalism school. I think I would have actually maybe quit journalism school had I realized that I didn't like that world. But I think more people, if they want to do something, go do that act, figure that out. And I feel like Stanley, you were kind of clowning, oh yeah, I was cold calling, and people don't want to do that. Well, the reason you're seeing the success now is because you did those reps before.
Yep. Oh, 100%. And I'm a very introverted person. So, it's funny because when I first started working with Josh, if he had told me in the most layman terms what I would be doing, I wouldn't have taken it. If he had told me I'd be out there, one day I walked 11 miles to sell people internet and cable. And
that's right.
11 miles in a day. You had told me that, I would have been like, no. But once again, it puts you. It's first off, not only is it an opportunity, because everything's an opportunity, really how you look at it.
Yep.
But when you get in those kind of uncomfortable situations, you start to adapt. You start to not panic and start looking for the solutions.
Yep.
like you said, with the reps too, is you do it over and over again, you get more confident. You're like, okay, well, I know when I'll put it this way. When we pitched, I remember pitching Tim the first time, and he's like, okay, this sounds cool. I like you. This sounds cool. I have no idea what you're doing per se, the ins and outs. But, even to when we got in, I did a pitch with, it was an angel pitch for William and Mary. Tim was there. Even then, answering the questions, they give us a question, we didn't have a good answer to it. They give us a question, we're like, fumbling through the answers. But we've done it so many times now, over and over and over. When those questions come up, just because I've done them, just because I've refined them.
Muscle memory.
Exactly.
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, StartWheel eliminates that pain point because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.